Okay, gobblers, it's your turn. Okay, gobblers, it's your turn.
There we go. Mike Nelson.
Happy Thursday, children of the lawn.
Yes, happy Thursday, children of the lawn. Happy Thursday. Happy Throwback Thursday. We got ourselves a Throwback Thursday. This show, as you can see, was previously aired on May 4th. And may the 4th be with you.
May 4th, 2020.
2020, over 2 years ago. This is very early in our broadcast careers. I'm not even sure you were in here with me yet, were you?
No, I probably was not.
Well, You'll see why. And I'm lucky to have her in here with me because it sucks being in here alone. You just can't do it. So here's the drill, kids. I'm going to be on the feed. And I thought I'd try something a little different. This is I'm going to play this episode mostly in its wholeness, unless something, there's some reason I should skip forward. But because I'm able to do that, I can watch the feed. I can watch the messages. So if you want to know something about something that's going on the screen, like why are you doing this, I'll see if I can't accommodate you with an answer. So, without any further ado, are you here?
Yeah, I've been talking. I'm writing to the people.
Oh, you're writing. She's writing.
I am.
We had a traumatic experience. We had a very traumatic experience. We are truly animal lovers, and we do love animals.
I don't think it's very funny.
What, you're laughing? What's this? Uh-oh. And meanwhile, all right, we won't. You don't want me to talk about that?
I think that I said it to you 3 times, didn't I?
Yeah, but, I mean, you're trying to save an animal and it didn't go. All right, I'm going to move on now. Now everybody wants to know, I can't win. This is like my week. It's my worst
If I
batting.
hadn't said to you 3 times.
Oh, I didn't think it would really bother you. I'm just only seeing how bad it is. Now I got to tell them. I have to tell them now. The children need to know.
No, they don't.
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. So, without any further ado, it's Throwback Thursday. See, now I'm still here. And here it goes. See? May 4th. Rockin' with me. Oh, so Mighty Joe Young is in this episode. Some John Entwistle and some Rat Race. And you see how it says at the bottom? Previously aired May 4th, 2020. So here we go, kids. This is the beginning of it all. Just like that. Happy Monday, as I gaze around my new setup, constantly tweaking, and I'm changing stuff too. Did you have a good weekend? I hope you had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. Had yesterday off from the show, which is not really off because I don't think I know how to not work, because I love what I do so much that I don't want to stop. Okay, that's a good problem to have. Here on Monday, 7 o'clock. It's weird. I'm looking into the cameras, and the sun is still up. This is like a rock and roll show, and I really want it to be dark, but the sun is not even down yet. But that's okay. We can rock with the sun up, right? So let's see. I spoke to my buddy Angus today. Oh, what was that? Something rang somewhere. I spoke to my buddy Angus today, and he told me about something that he heard that I did or that I didn't do, and or that I was supposed to have done. I decided to tell a kind of funny story to open up today about rumors and how they start. Rumors. Now, the particular rumor that Angus, I don't know if it was a rumor, but it wasn't true, so I guess it was. I was late, unimaginably late for a gig, and it was oh God, he told me where it was, and anyway, Angus said, You can write it if you want, but it was someplace in Jersey, and there was 5 bands, and I think we were supposed to go on first, and I was late. And if it was in the early 80s, it wasn't, because I was out to dinner at the Jersey Shore. Because I wasn't going out to dinner much in those days. I was certainly late, and don't deny that, but not because I was eating dinner at the Jersey Shore with my wife, which is very romantic. Well, anyway, I'm sure I was late for a good reason. I was never late because I didn't care. I was late because I wasn't paying attention, or I wasn't engaged. And that has a lot to do with today's show, because today's show I'm going to present in chronological order. You saw if you were there for the opening page, I'm going to do some rat race. I'm going to open up with rat race because people have been asking me about that Led Zeppelin thing from the Pinecrest. So I'll play that. I don't remember whether I played it or not, but I will play it again. And anyway, so let me get back to the rumors. This is one of my favorite rumor stories, and they're out there. I mean, you hear all these crazy things about what guys do. And I'll tell you something else. I'm watching a lot of guys. A lot of our friends are doing shows and broadcasting and live casting and telling their stories to their fans. And man, I think it's great. I think the fact that I can connect with you like this is a gift. Because what are you doing now besides this? What am I doing now besides this? Well, probably plenty, but this is what I enjoy. Entertaining, connecting. This is what I do. It's what I was, purposed to do in this life. So, anyway, I tell my stories. I'm looking down at my cheat sheet. I have a very nice script all written up for today. You're not supposed to be able to see that. It's just evidence that I'm actually looking at something. Okay. So let's. You've heard. I'm sure tons of Who rumors. Who rumors. Sounds like a Midwestern thing. What are you, one of them Who rumors? Anyway, I've got a great one, and this is a John and Keith rumor, and this was. Well, I'll just lay it out for you. It's typical John, and perfect story, and it gives rise to any rumors that you may hear out there. I'm producing a record in Woodstock, and I happen to be at the same time that Bon Jovi was recording at, what was the name of the place? I don't know, but Tico and I have been friends for many, many years, being drummers and so on, and we wrote a couple of really great songs together. He invites me down to, where were they? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Somebody's shouting out. I know Bob Clearmountain was doing the setup and the tracking and whatever. And it'll come to me. I'll just blurt it out like some maniac, senile general. I'm up there producing a record at a place called Red Apple Rest. I was producing the Joni's Butterfly record, I think, at the time. And we had locked out 4 or 5 days, go up there and just keep everything the same. When you do a lockout, no one can change your stuff. So, you like that, because you don't want anybody messing with your stuff. So everything stays set up. And we had a lockout, and we were going back and forth. It wasn't that terrible a ride. I was living in the house in the mountains, so it was easy back and forth. And the guys in the band stayed up there. But anyway, I digress as usual. So I get to the studio for the first day. They've gone through setting up the stuff, and I've run through the setup and the track list and so on and so forth. And the the female that owned the studio said, "I heard you play with John Entwistle." And I said, "Yes, I do." She said, "I wonder if you could clear something up for me." So, if I can, I'll try. She said, "I heard that the reason that he drinks brandy is because him and Keith Moon did an experiment with livers, cadaver livers, where they soaked them in all the different kinds of alcohol overnight or something like that. And then the next day, you know, they had one in gin and one in vodka and one in brandy and one so on and so forth. And she said, and I heard that when they were finished with their experiment, the liver that was in the brandy had deteriorated the least. And that's what made them decide to drink brandy. She said, have you ever heard that story? I said, no, I haven't, but, you know, I'll ask John when I talk to him. And I love stuff like this. I mean, I always do love stuff. And so does John. Or so did John. He probably still does. I'm sure he's laughing. So I ring him up. I said, hey, man, I said, I've got a good one for you. He said, oh, really? What's that? And I said, well, and I tell him the story that the girl at the Red Apple Rest, the lady that owns the recording studio, told me the story about you and Keith Moon and blah. And he's going, yeah. And I said, yeah. And you had like human livers. I guess they were cadaver livers, and you got them, yeah. And I said, is that true? And he went, no. I said, well, you wanna? What happened? He said, we were in the doctor's office, and he goes on to tell me how they read an article in a medical journal that talked about a test that was done with calves' livers. A scientific test, not John and Keith in the frickin' bathroom with cadaver livers. So, he said, no, because they did everything together. I mean, they were inseparable, and that's just the way it was. So I said, oh, well, that's good, because, I mean, where would you have gotten the livers from? I said, and anyway, I said, it doesn't matter. I'll straighten her out tomorrow. And he goes, no. Her story's much better. I said, okay, I won't say a word. And that's how rumors get started, kids. I've had people come up to me and say, I thought you were dead. Me too. Some still think I am. And there's a ton of stuff like that out there, and it's weird. But it's part of the business, part of that life. It's I remember the first time I ever heard anything like that. I mean, serious rumor about myself. I was in a car accident, which, as some of you probably, wasn't really a car accident. Somebody threw something off a bridge back in July. This is old stuff for you guys. You guys know this by heart. But the cool thing about this is, that's a nice face too, by the way, Steve. There you go. That's a better one. No, it's not. Okay. Anyway, it's fun for me to listen to these and see, just to get the feel of it along with you guys. So anyway, I'm sorry. Here we go. I think, and it was kind of a mess, and I was almost killed, and so was Mark's fiance, future ex-wife, and Mark was unscathed, and that was a pretty hellish period. So, but a lot of people, obviously we weren't playing very much because I was mashed, and it took a little while till we got back on the schedule, and then when we finally started running into people, man, I heard you were dead. So there's that. I've heard a lot of weird stuff. So if you have weird stuff that you've heard and you'd like to know whether it's true or not, you can write me at bullshitinabag. No, if you've heard, I'd love to hear stories. If you heard a rumor, as long as it's not nasty. This is not like I don't want to talk about anybody's personal life or whether somebody was nice or not nice. But I mean, if you heard a rumor that the band was signed to a Japanese record deal, that would be fun to know. Because again, this is a place for levity, and and I thought about it today when I was, deciding over the weekend. I think about the show constantly. I think about this and you guys. Wait a minute. Rat Race was signed to a Japanese record label? Constantly. Much to my wife's dismay. Well, no, it's actually not. But I tell you what, talk about the best contract I ever signed, that was it. She gets me my tea before I go on. She manages all the details. She's really my show producer. So blame anything that's wrong or that you don't like on her. She's my best friend. I'm going to break into a Barry White song. Now she's a real gift in my life, and she's gotten me through. You know, the thing about it is, we met, I think, 77. And we were just friends for like 5 years. We met in 1977, and I had a girlfriend. She had a boyfriend, and but we would see each other regularly. And I'll do this story another time. But you know, she knew me in the Rat Race Choir heydays. She knew me 70, 77, 78, 79 in the, you know, in the magnificence of it. And when we got together, it was 5 years later. I had broken up with my girlfriend. She had broken up with her boyfriend. She was visiting a friend of ours that she was still friendly with. She flew up from New Orleans and wound up coming over to my house for the night. And that was like 38 years ago. She never left, except to go home and get her clothes. And that's a good story. So, she's seen me through a lot of times, seen me through a lot of musical pursuits. I've written most of the songs that I write, you know, whether they're heartbreakers or whatever they are about her or some experience, you know, because that's what inspires me. There's not much darkness, you know, I don't write about drug overdoses or that kind of stuff. I never did, but... Oh, yes, you did. Certainly not now. So anyway, that's my girl. And I'm going to play you the first piece here is a Rat Race piece. It's the Led Zeppelin piece I was talking about. It's that Pinecrest Country Club performance. Reasonably good sound, reasonably good picture. Again, this was a multi-camera shoot that was meant for commercial release that just never happened. But that's show business, isn't it? I mean, that's showbiz, baby. And part of showbiz, let me give you my word from my sponsor before we get to the good stuff. Uh-oh, there it is, Migration.
I didn't realize we were having a commercial.
Migration, the shirt of stars.
The shirt of stars. It is the shirt of stars. They're singing about it right now. Oh, the stars.
Now this one.
But I just keep on rolling along with the grace of the Lord above, yeah. People talking all around by the way you let me fly. I don't care what the people say, I know when that time is out. One thing I do have on my mind is clear about this too. So when you gonna do another kind of night when I'm trying to make it all out. Worked so hard I could not whine, get some money saved. I beat my love 1,000 times, well I wanna try. But take the time that's good, can't take her either way. Going way to heartbreaking. Heartbreaker.
I'm just going to break in here for a second, you know, because I can. And I was noticing, you know, I'm listening to how loud those amps are. And I mean, those amps are screaming. When he's doing that feedback, that's no pedal. That's tubes that are going like this. No, no, no. And Mark used to say that if he couldn't feel it, you know, feel the amp move in air, it didn't work for him. So, and I get that. I truly do get that. Because if I couldn't play the way I was playing back in those days lightly. I couldn't, like, play that at half the volume. It wouldn't, you know. Anyway. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Here we go. Okay. I would go into the what is and what should never be, but I'll save that for, I'll play it tomorrow because we can't get everything done. But yeah, that was quite an interesting night that night. And you know, as I what is all that? As I examine, you know, what I'm doing, what I'm telling stories about, what I'm reliving, and so on and so forth. It reveals itself over time, when all will be revealed. You know, I look and first of all, I made myself a note during that. And you guitar players out there, I've never noticed this before. I mean, I've seen it, you know, that thing that Mark does with his pick and what happens to his hand when he does it. It's amazing. And let me tell you what, Mark has hands like he could probably crack nuts. I know he busts balls, but he could probably crack nuts. Very strong hands. John too. But I never realized that, you know, when you get calamari and got that little thing in there that looks like that. So it's, you know, I don't know. Anyway. I have enough problems of my own without getting a calamari Mark. Okay, so that was 1982, if memory serves. Got AG. Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you. That was 82, and I'm not doing a chronological recount. Although today, when I when I decided on the three main things that I was going to play, I realized that if I put them in a certain amount of chronological order, it would make some sense. And I was, again, talking to my friend Angus today, and we were talking about me not being in Rat Race Choir anymore. And I said, I don't remember quitting. I think I just remember us not playing and whatever. And I don't remember that, that final story where, hey, I remember enough of those days and nights, but I don't remember one definitive one where I was gone and then I can, it's just, I don't think that's how it went, but maybe I'm using selective memory. And I'll tell you what, if I am, that's okay too, because Rat Race Choir was as important in my life as any other musical event that ever existed. From the first time I heard Al Renino Sr. play with the White Plains High School Band when I was in kindergarten, that was like big impact. Janice, you remember that? You told me about it. Rat Race was the whole thing. That's in its prime and even in its evolution through Chris Murphy, the guitar player, Bob Catapano, the guitar player, Bob Mayo, the guitar player, up to Mark, which is, the band was constantly evolving. We were constantly taking things to another level and trying new things. I remember all the way back to 1968, the original band, when we had Peppy, Chris Peck singing vocals, and Chris Murphy playing guitar, and Dave and myself. We would go down in Chris's basement and we'd put on these classical records. This is 68, and try to figure out how to turn these Dvorak pieces or whatever into music. Into rock and roll music, and it was always about that. And I think Chris Murphy, as much as anybody in Rat Race Choir, led that charge for freshness and newness and like that. So in Rat Race, I discovered what I loved about music. And what I really love about music, when I'm having the best time, is when I'm in the middle of some furious exchange and it's over the top, nuts, like a weather system. In fact, if you listen on the Torque album, and I'll address this at some point on the show, if you listen to Rippin' from Torque 103, it's about what I'm telling you about, the fury of playing and being so caught up in the moment of playing with another musician. It's it's musical sex, it's musical dance, it's ballet, it is the most intimate of exchanges between two people with never a word spoken, but everything understood. And when you're in that, whether I was in it in Rat Race or Entwistle or whatever it was, that's what I live for, that furious disconnection where I am lost in what I'm doing and all that matters is the note I'm playing. Now, okay. So, in my pursuit of that, I tried different things with different bands, and once you play with a voice like Dave's or guitar like Mark or Larry, keyboard like any of the keyboard players that we had, Larry, Gordon, Jack, it's very hard to come out of that for 20 plus years and then all of a sudden say, well, man, I need to do something else musically. And whatever the hell that's going to be, it better be pretty cool. And I remember the middle of the 80s, 85, 86, being kind of slow for us. It was a transition period. It was pre-Entwistle. It was the drinking age had changed. Everything was going upside down. The industry was changing. And all of a sudden I wasn't... I just wanted some excitement, some musical excitement. And I had two friends that were exceptional musicians. And I said, you know what, man, I've been dying to play with you guys forever. And we knew each other. We were all in the same scene together. And And I knew Lou more than I knew Al by reputation, but I knew them both. And I think I jammed with them one time, and I said, you know, this is what I'm used to. And I am never going to say one guy was better than another guy. I have been so blessed with the players that I've worked with, from everybody to everybody. It's never been about who they are. It's been about what they do. And whether it's Mark Hitt or Lou Ubriaco or John Entwistle or Al Renino, I'm telling you, these guys all soared in their own way, and they all brought their own thunder, their own magic. So what I'm going to play you now, it's a weird one, and it's another one of those game tapes, so it's kind of shitty, sucky, whatever it is, sound and audio, but sound and video, but you'll get it. This was my attempt at something new, a trio that played different music than I played with Rat Race, and if I was going to be singing in Rat Race, I might as well be singing in this. So this was a band that I had in 1985 with Lou Ubriaco and Al Renino. Now, you heard that name. Al Renino is the son of the Al Renino Sr., whose band came to my elementary school in kindergarten. There are no coincidences. Anyway, this is Mighty Joe Young at Lemoore in Queens. And some of you might see some of your friends in this video. Well, check it out.
Known by Oriental women as fingers, Mr. Al Renino.
Just to connect the dots on all this, this is Al, who was in the Leslie Story, where we're playing at, we need a bass player for tomorrow. Nassau Coliseum. So I brought Al. Mighty Joe Young.
Mighty Joe Young.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was go as crazy as we can go. There he is, and he
Play
was
loud
certainly
and prosper.
the Spock to my Kirk. And we're still,
Coming out of a very different shoot tonight.
oh well, still very good friends to this day.
That's true.
With
Still true, 2 years later.
guitars, I give you Bad Lulu.
Just a little bit of fun. Chris Catalano. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
More.
Thanks to my
shameless promotion. How about this?
good friend, late friend, Chris Catalano.
That's okay.
That
Damn,
scares
I'm
me
talking
every
there, I'm
frickin'
talking
time.
here. Pat, for you, to elaborate on the Pinecrest Country Club stuff.
I'm having too much fun.
Hang on a minute there, Goldie. To elaborate on the Pinecrest stuff, it was a multi-camera shoot, and our manager at the time set it up, and I mean it was a whole big production, as you can see. And that's all I got of it. I got one camera's, the tape from one camera. That's why you don't have multi-cameras, and that's why you see the guy in the in the dancing to fusion, the progressive rock dancing in 7. That was the guy who filmed the whole show. So if he was on me or he was on Gordon or Mark or whatever, that was just his camera that I got, and I got it on 3/4 inch tape, which is like, it's bigger than VHS. It was actually, I think, before VHS. But back to our show.
Yes.
There's no such thing. Tried to tell my mother that. Okay, so let's see. Man, let me tell you what. Playing with guys like that, in that situation, getting to rip like that with those guys, getting to just let it hang out there. It doesn't matter who they are, or who they could have been, or who they should have been, or who they might have been. That's who they are. That's who they were. And it's very funny because Al Renino, still one of my closest friends in this world. And if I had a situation where I needed a bass player and he was available, he'd be the guy I use. I mean, Larry's obviously my first call guy down here, Larry Hobbs. But Al, whatever. When you lock like that with a guy, it means everything. And I know my bass player friends out there my drummer friends will agree. It's all about the rhythm section. So how about that? I mean, Dave Camella and I and Rat Race locked up pretty darn good. When we got moving together, it was nothing quite like it. And doing that, I was saying before, Rat Race probably the most complete musical thing that I was in. Where Rat Race taught me how to rock, taught me how to swing, how to funk, how to jazz. It was a very complete thing. There wasn't anything that we didn't feel that we could do. And the best part about that, as I unplug half of my security system, best part, it was easy. It was easy. But again, this is about going forward in time, and that was just it was an amazing musical experience, and it led me to be able to take on something like, or to create something like Mighty Joe Young, and we played for a good almost 2 years. We were out there doing pretty good. We recorded originals first before we ever decided to go out and play music. Louie and I had tried recording years before. It's just the circle of guys that you come up with, and both of those guys are as monstrous pros and as talented as you could ever hope to work with. So my hat's off to my Mighty Joe Young brothers. And what I was going to say is, Al, I still talk to. He's one of my best friends. I haven't talked to Louie in forever, and that's just the way it goes. But nothing will ever change the music that we made, and that goes for all of it. So where do we go next? Where do we go next? Next! Well, the next thing that happened, and that was 85, and then in 87 I
well, we all met John at NAMM in Chicago, and struck up a musical friendship, which had me sticking around with John for a while. You know, I transitioned out of one thing. I said before, there was no day that I ever said, oh, I'm not, you know, I quit. It's when there was work, that's where we went. But whatever. So someone asked me for a rehearsal tape, if I could play, if I had any tapes of rehearsals with the Entwistle Band. And in fact, I do. And so I actually pulled them out, and I went to the tape closet, and I pulled them out, and I digitized some of them so that I could show it to you. And this is where, you know, all of those other two things led me to, because there was the thing about Louis. If you watch Louis playing that solo, man, that guy was so wrapped up in it, and he was just, I don't even know if he knew anybody else was on the stage. And when John gets wound up in it, that's where it's like another planet. So in this bit of rehearsal video, we're doing it's interesting because we wound up doing some stuff from Live at Leeds, which I don't know how many times we actually got to play it, but you know, we didn't want to just go out and keep playing the same stuff. And I remember doing an interview with John where he said that was his favorite live album, and I thought, well, why don't we do some of the jam stuff from there and see what happens. So this one particular day, we called it out at rehearsal. This was the first actual day of rehearsal. We had technical day, which is setting everything up, and we were just running through stuff. Somebody would call out a song, we would try to play it. If we didn't get all the way to the end, we'd either fix it or move on to something else. So I don't know how long this is, but I'll see you when it's done. This is the real thing. You guys even learn their mistakes. Here comes one of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trying to make up for last night.
But something's
That-
still talking.
oh, that's the thing still playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, how can that be playing?
Watching that.
I don't know.
Wow, that's really
Don't get me
weird.
wrong, I love
What the
old
hell's
gigs,
going
but
on
I'm sitting
here?
around watching it all day and
No, that
seeing
needs to
some of the
stop.
stuff I
Oh,
haven't
I know
seen.
why. I know why. Watch.
whatever.
I've
A
never
lot
done
of
this
stuff-
before.
Some of
It's OBS stuff. And I mean that in a very good way. So, let's see. I just listened, and we'll listen again in the morning to the most recent pass of Oxzoomed. We are inching ever closer to something that will do our buddy justice. We had some crazy times with the Weasel. Do you remember when he burned the letter from Kerbersley and it set off the smoke alarm?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's fine. You know how you know that really happened.
And he got us kicked out of the Guggenheim because he was bored.
Yeah, he was bored at the Guggenheim. He went there to
Ringo.
and Jackie Joyner Kersey and who's the... Why can I never remember her name?
Jane,
No. Lewis. Not Lewis.
but Jane too.
Yeah, Jane...
The Bond girl. Come on, she was Dr.
Seymour,
Medicine
Jane
one-
Seymour.
Yeah, Jane
I didn't
Seymour.
care about that.
They all did art on a...
on a MasterCard. Ringo drew two different color circles with two different color eyes and then a different color smile. And they showed the original piece, which was probably...
And John was on tour with Ringo at the time.
Yeah, so it was 94 maybe.
So we had to go with him
So we
to
had
the
to go,
Guggenheim.
let's go to the Guggenheim.
Ugh.
And that was where we got out
We
of the
got a
limo.
limo, yeah.
Got out of the limo to go to the Guggenheim. And the paparazzi's all there, and that's an overwhelming thing to see that many. And
Yeah,
no
that
matter
was-
how many times it happens, that many flashbulbs at you is a weird thing.
Right. And you knew one of the photographers.
Yeah, I did. And so the paparazzi were yelling out, "John, Roger, John, Roger."
It was
And,
Steve.
and it was pissing John off, and he goes, "It's not Roger."
Well, everybody
And they
used to
said,
think
"Well,
he
he
was
looks like Roger." And he said, "Maybe if he was standing on a chair."
If Roger was.
If Roger was standing.
Well, because when John was with Steve, Steve had the long curly blonde hair. People just assumed it was Roger, and they would recognize Roger. and it
And
was
they wouldn't
Steve.
recognize John.
Or they would say, "Wow, you're the drummer from Larry's Choir," and not recognize John.
It used to drive him nuts.
Yeah. So we went into the Guggenheim, and we
And
said
there-
we
and
were
there-
hungry.
We were hungry because we went straight. Suzanne was with us. We went straight from the hotel. We didn't get any dinner. It was
Right,
like
so
we
we
picked
said-
him up. We went, got in the limo,
and went to the Guggenheim.
And there was walking hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, like, you know, hors d'oeuvres
Nice
at the
ones.
Guggenheim. That's
Yeah.
gonna be some top
So
shelf
let's go
shit.
stand right by the kitchen door where those waiters
let's
come
stand
out.
over there, right? So every time they would come out, right, the minute they would come out, I'd be grabbing stuff. Laurie would be grabbing stuff.
Yeah.
We'd hand it to John.
But then they
Suzanne.
started holding them way
But
high.
then they started,
we couldn't get 'em.
Then they knew we couldn't get. So they're doing this with the frickin'
And it
things,
pissed
right?
John off, and he lit a cigarette
Pissed
up
John
in the
off.
Guggenheim,
Yep.
an art museum.
Yeah, he got mad because they wouldn't let us have any more appetizers,
Yep.
and so he started smoking,
Is
and we
that-
got thrown out.
Yep. And that was his plan.
That was his plan.
And
And
we were
weren't
glad.
we in the elevator with Ringo and Barbara?
Yeah. Yeah,
You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't.
I mean, you can, and maybe.
But John loved to be the bad kid. But he liked somebody being the bad kid with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
AKA Keith Moon,
Or you.
or.
Or me. He wanted me to take bananas from a rehearsal.
Well, I got to
studio.
tell you something, and I'm going to end with this, okay? Because it's past our bedtime,
Yes, it is.
and don't forget tomorrow, you know.
Free for all Friday.
But you remember those 2 DVDs that you showed me that you found? I said, I can't believe you found these.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what those are? I digitized them.
What?
That's all the stripper videos.
Oh!
All of it compiled
From the tour. Oh
from
my
a
God.
couple of tours, I think. I did a compilation. I was going to sell it to Fantasy Videos, but you know.
No.
Anyway, so that's our show for this evening, kids.
Okay, Laurie can't wait for Free for All Friday. We'll
Oh,
see you
it's-
then, Laurie.
It's going to be a wild one tomorrow, and if I don't see you in the future, see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
Listen for the music. There it is. I told you. Now, who was that asshole knocking on the door? I mean, I was going to beat this guy within a... gotcha.